seen a really cute outfit online that is made for a specific holiday, and the outfit is just so wonderful, but you know you can only wear it that one time of year for the holiday. Of course, I'm not talking about Halloween or Christmas or some of those longer holidays where you can kind of like fit it in there anytime. I'm talking about those day specific holidays like Easter or, July 4th. So I really wanted to make a July 4th dress, but I feel kind of bad making an entire garment that I'm only going to wear once a year. So I decided that I would make it reversible. Now it is June, it is Pride Month, so on the underside of this 4th of July dress, I'm going to put a rainbow. I know that rainbows don't have to be Pride specific, but they are so pretty regardless. Now, another reason for this is my relationship with the United States right now is kind of, just doing my best, but the country can use some help at the moment. So I kind of wanted to do something that celebrates our American heritage, but also, has the underlying theme of something else. So I'm going to be making a regular bodice that is going to be navy blue, and then I will be doing a skirt that is the American flag colors. Then on the underside of that skirt, it is going to be a rainbow, but I'm going to keep the dark blue bodice. So my name is Francine. Let's get started, and welcome to Shenanigans. So first, it's time to do our concept art, and I wanted to come outside and do it. It is a really beautiful day. So it's just a really beautiful day outside, and I wanted to harness just the beauty of nature and just kind of use that as some nice background music. So here we are. And now it's time to do the concept art. So to start with, I'm going to sketch out my idea. I'm using this Pantone Fashion sketch pad. I got it from the thrift store yesterday. It was like $3. I don't really know what's special about it, but you know how Pantone is. So I've never done this before. I've never used this brand before. I have other similar ones. I'm gonna skip all these ones that have like colors already at the bottom, because who knows. So I choose one of these. This looks fine. Okay, so for the bodice of the dress, I know that I want to use the charm shirt pattern. So I know that it looks like this, and then it's got buttons that come down here like this. And I'm drawing outside today because it's just such a nice day. It just seems like a waste to spend it in the house. And then it's got these bubble sleeves with a keyhole like this. The bubble sleeves with a keyhole like that. And I'm not going to put any buttons on the sleeve cuffs because I know that the skirt is already going to be so distracting because I'm going to have so much stuff going on with it. I don't want the top to also be distracting. So this part is where I'm going to put a waistband. So I'm going to have a waistband like this. Okay. Now the skirt is going to come out like this, and I guess I'm going to make it kind of long because I have ideas for how I want to do it. So I'm going to make it kind of long, and then this is going to be panels. So I'm going to have red, white, and blue, and then on the back red, white, and blue as well. But for here, this is going to be red, white, and blue, and I want the white to actually be around here, because what I'm going to do is for the white side, I'm going to have these quilted stars. Now, I've never quilted before, so it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, the white only. And so you can't see it, but on this side also is going to be white, like that. And the whites are going to be more on the side. So actually, you know what? Let me redo this. So I actually want it like this. So the wide panels are going to be wider than the other colors. So it's going to be more like this. So then this is also going to be a star. Like that. There we go. So this is going to be white. white, and then red and blue, red, blue. Yeah. So you get it, you get it. All right, so then on the bottom here, which is why it's going to be so long, I'm going to have a stamp border. The stamp is a Riley Blake print. It's called like Sew America or something. Actually, these stars are going to be higher up. They're not going to be that low down. I want them higher. Yeah, there we go, like that. So we don't want the stars down here. We want them higher up. Okay, so this is the stamp border is a very very complicated, and then the stamp border on the back is going to be more saturated. I went ahead and I colored the other stamp panels. I did like a dye that would, or I did the color remover by Rit. So there is still color, but it looks more antique. It doesn't look as clean or nice as the brand new ones that will be on the front. So the front is going to look more newer, and then the back is going to look a little older. Okay, so in addition to that, I'm also making the skirt reversible. So the top is going to stay the same, but the skirt will be reversible. So I'm going to have the same 6 panels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's, 6. The same 6 panels, but the back is going to be rainbow because it's Pride Month. Like you can't do Pride Month without a rainbow. So yeah, it's the same thing. The skirt is going to be reversible, and so let's color this in now. All right, everyone, that's the plan. I guess we'll see how it goes.
So right here, I'm just cutting out the pattern that I already printed, and I'm just going to use it to cut out my fabric. So the first thing I wanted to do before I got into cutting the fabric was actually wash the fabric. Cotton tends to shrink a little bit in the dryer, so sometimes you get a more accurate fit if you wash it first. However, I made a fatal mistake, as you can see here. I washed the red fabric with the whites. Ooh. I have done the bodice and also sewn the collar on. So now I'm going to try it on and we'll see how it looks so far. Okay. All right. So I have not done the collar facing yet, as you can see, but I didn't feel like doing a toile because I was being lazy. Let's see how this looks. Okay, darts. Well, I mean, it seems a little big, but this is where the button placket is going to go. So I can always trim that down. See, my darts look good. Right where I want them to be. I am going to add sleeves, so don't worry about this right now. Yeah, this is looking nice. Well, so far so good, huh? I don't think there's anything I really want to fix right now. I think this is great as it is. Well, now I have to do the facings for the collar. I think that's next. All right, I'll see you when that's done.
also, I'm going to show you this. My dad made me this. Because I was complaining about the price of Taylor clappers. I just think it's silly. It's a block of wood. So he made me one out of a block of wood. It cost me nothing. And he also fixed this tabletop ironing board. I got it from the thrift store as well for $1.50, and then the second I got it home and put the iron on it, it broke in half. There's no telling how old this thing was. So my dad put it on a new piece of wood. So, alright, Gertie, you're just in the way like usual. So I'm just gonna iron now. And I just iron any way I want to. I don't care about, oh, well, you gotta leave it in one place and don't move it around and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't care. I'm just gonna do it any way I feel like it. These panels are already covered in pet hair. I just can't. I can't escape it. I can't escape it. One day I'll have a dedicated space. Alright, I'm not going to bore you with me ironing the whole time, so I'll see you when it's time for sewing. We meet again. So I have ironed everything. Something's wrong with my iron, and it caused a little bit of snags in the polyester, which, you know, you can look at polyester wrong and sometimes snag it, so I don't know. I think that maybe a piece of metal has come up. I did get it from the thrift store. I have been using it, though, so I was quite surprised that I'm having this issue now, because I had been using it. Anyway, so I'm going to leave the navy thread in, and there is no right or wrong side, really, because they're the same on both sides, so I'm just going to line them up and then go for it. Oh, my bobbin just ran out. Wow. Talk about playing chicken. Yeah, that's crazy. You love to see it. You love to see it, because that was the last panel. All right, she's done. All right, it's done. This is not perfect, but it was my first attempt at doing a quilt. So, yeah, this one can go on the back. I learned a lot doing this. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but let's go make another. All right, so I have marked where I want the star to go. The border is going to have those stamps, so I'm going to put it right here above. And I'm only going to do the white panels because this was a lot harder than I thought. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, well, I read online you can use a school glue stick. You use a glue school stick, or a school glue stick to glue this down, and then it'll hold it in place while you zigzag around the edges. I'm not sure I want to do that. I might just use Fusible. I know that Fusible can sometimes like gunk up your machine, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Alright, my friends, I have glued it down. It's a little wonky, whatever. It looks pretty good on camera. I think so anyway. Alright, so now I'm gonna take it over to the machine and I'm gonna do a blanket stitch. I was gonna do a zigzag, but it looked kind of weird when I did it on a test. So did the blanket stitch, so it wasn't much better. But I think I'm going to do that. All right, let's go. So I have the applique on the machine, on the thing. So we're just going to start. I'm going to use the same navy thread that I've been using this whole time. I'm not changing anything up. This is a lot of bulk to try and get through this machine, but we're going to do it. All right, I have the applique ready to go, and now I'm just going to blanket stitch. Let's see how it looks. It looks like I missed a spot. Hold on, let me move you. Alright, so here it is. Looks pretty good. It looks like I missed a spot right there, but since this is the back and it's going to be dark, this is fine. This will sit nicely when I quilt. When I quilt the panels. Watch out, Gertie. Watch out. Gertie, you gotta move. Okay. Gertie, are you being a pattern late? Alright, now that the red is done, I'm going to use it as a pattern basis for the rest of my colors. And I'm going to do that over at the sewing table and not the floor, where the animals are in the way and being all over everything. Okay, I just finished vacuuming the floor. Still kind of messy, but whatever. At least that fur is gone. So, here is the completed skirt. I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to use it as a pattern for cutting out the rainbow colors. Okay, I have measured my skirt length. My skirt length right now is 40 inches, or the skirt waistband is 40 inches. And so when I add in the 5/8 seam allowance for 6 panels, that comes out to like 44 inches. So let's divide 44 inches by 6. Alexa, what's 44 divided by 6?
44 divided by 6 is approximately 7.3333.
I want to make each panel 7.333 inches in width. All of the pattern pieces are cut out now. So now it's time to sew them together. Alright guys, now I'm gonna iron everything out. Okay, now that all my pieces are ironed together, it's time to sew them. Alright, so I did finish the rainbow skirt, and I did add a white panel on the back to kind of like make it fit better. So now I'm going to sew the right sides together across most of the whole thing. Well guys, I did it. So here's the rainbow side. And then and have the July 4th side. What's next? Okay, so after thinking about it for a while, I won't be able to turn this inside out after it's quilted because both layers will be quilted together. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the border, the stamp border. I just don't want to quilt the stamp border, so I'm going to have to be very careful with my lines. So I'm going to attach the stamp border, sew up the bottom, and then we'll get to quilting. I drive an 18-wheeler, and I was thinking about my project, and it was about this time when I decided that I hated it. I don't like the skirt being double-sided, and I really wanted to make it double-sided.
Looks like we did it. We finished the dress on time, and I wore it to the event. Now, I did want to say that I had a very interesting experience at the event. First of all, the show was great. It was a lot of music that I knew, actually, even the older stuff. But the cool part was while I was in line, because I did arrive early, so I could go ahead and get video of the reveal. And while I was in line, a woman walked up to me and she asked me if I was in the show. And I was like, no, I just wanted to dress up. And she said, what a good job I did. And she really liked the outfit. And, you know, she was just really sweet. And I didn't really think much else about it. But I did have front row seats because I bought a season pass for the Civic Theater at the beginning of the year. And so before the show started, while I was in my seat, the same lady came up to me and she's like, hey, I don't mean to embarrass you. And I was thinking, oh God, is there something wrong with the skirt? Like, can they see my underwear or something? You know, because when somebody comes up and they're like, I don't want to embarrass you, that's the first thing you think. You think something really crazy happened that you didn't know about. Anyway, she was like, but I was telling my friends all about your dress. And would you mind like showing us up close? And I was like, sure, we still have 10 minutes before the show starts. Why not? So I got up from my seat, I go to their seats, and then I got fawned over for a few, like a couple minutes. And one of the ladies was just like, I can't believe this is your first time quilting. And I was like, yeah, I used the blanket stitch because that's what my machine can do. And then they were like, oh, I hope, you know, well, the other lady's like, I hope you're not embarrassed. I was like, no, I mean, I like attention. Why would I wear this in public if I didn't want people to ask me about it? And so I just thought that was a really cool experience. So that being said, I'm going to discuss the pros of this project and the cons. So let's start with the cons so we can get like the bad stuff out of the way and then, you know, talk about the good stuff. The cons. The top is polyester. I'm extremely upset the top was polyester. I should have known that it was polyester. It did not feel like cotton. And I should have probably did more due diligence when getting the fabric for the top. I just saw, oh my gosh, the fabric I need in this color. I'm just going to buy it from the thrift store. But yeah, it was, it's not a fun experience to wear. I do not like polyester, and it is extremely hot, especially for July. So it's just, so the second thing is that I really need to practice doing any kind of quilt blocks. They were not even, not that it really matters or anything like that. Also, as you saw earlier, I need to be careful about how I wash my fabrics because I did get some pink. Now we were able to do something fun with that later on. But still, that would be something I'd like to avoid. Let me think. I should probably do a toile, but maybe next time. I don't like doing toiles. They waste time to me, and I already have so little time as it is. All right. So let's talk about the good.
Sorry, Let's Chat is no longer available. For now, you can ask me questions or to do things like set a target.
Okay. So let's talk about the good. So the good is, well, I have a completed outfit and it fit the theme of what I was going for and it looked really good. Enough where somebody come up and talk to me about it. And I really think that the border I put on it really worked for it. And I did like the horsehair braid at the bottom. It was a bit of a struggle to get on, but it just gives it a little bit of structure, just a little bit. Because I have petticoats, but they're for much shorter skirts than what this one was. Let's see what else. I think the star buttons look really cute. Also, the fact that the top is just basic really lets the skirt shine because I'm huge into pattern mixing. I like craziness and weirdness all around. I don't care. But for this project, it just felt really authentic to have, have the focus be on the skirt. Now the big question, would I make this again? The top, yes, I would definitely make the top again. I adore the pattern. I did have to wing it a little bit for the keyhole sleeves because I was a little confused about that part. And then later I had my husband ask me, hey, your sleeve is unfinished. You have a hole in your sleeve. And I had to tell him that it's a keyhole. It's supposed to be like that. So that was interesting. But yes, the actual scout dress is phenomenal, wonderful piece of art, I guess. And I might size down next time. But as for the skirt, I just used a basic circle skirt. I've made them 100 times. So yeah, I would probably make that again. As for the whole outfit, no. I think one July 4th themed outfit is enough. And it'll last me for a long time. So there we go. That is my final thoughts. And thank you for sticking around with me through this process. So if you like the channel, subscribe, please. That's the best way to get my stuff out there. And who knows, maybe this can be something that I do more of in the future. Now, just for your information, this is not a channel where I will upload a video a certain day of the week every week. I work 50 hours a week and I'm in college full-time for my bachelor's degree. I do not have time to dedicate to staying on a strict schedule for this channel. However, I can promise you that I will be releasing videos. It's not something I'm going to abandon. So special thanks first. I would like to thank my sister. She is my video editor, and without her, I would not have a channel because editing videos is so boring to me that I just have no desire to do that at all. So anything funny or interesting or fun that's put in this video, that's all her. So thank you. And I would also like to thank Stephanie Canada, who inspired me to make my own channel. And then also she shouted me out on her Whatnot show and got some people to subscribe to my videos. So hello. Okay. And then thirdly, I would like to thank City Stash Fabrics. They provided the red and the border print that I used in my project. And their prices are really good. So citystashfabrics.com. And if you want to see what they offer, it's awesome. I catch their Whatnot shows all the time. So yeah, that's it. Also, thank you to Gertie for always being there for me to help. All right, until next time, you have a great one, and so long, fellow humans.